Okay, come on in. Welcome over to my whiteboard. Right, what we're going to do right now is take an audit on your genius zone. Right, we're going to look at how we can figure out which genius zone we're going to focus on and turn that into a unique angle so that you're standing out, even if you're in a really saturated marketplace. Okay, because here's the thing, if you're anything like me, at this point, the thing that's probably going around your head is, how do I know for sure that my idea, my coaching program or my course or my done for you service or whatever it is that I'm wanting to offer, how do I know that that's unique? How do I know that people will actually want to pay me for this, right? Like, how do I know if this idea is going to be successful? Or maybe you've got more than one genius zone, more than one idea, and you're trying to figure out which one do I start with, which one's going to be most successful, right? Which one's going to be easiest to launch it and to get some runs on the board. So let's answer that first question first. How do you know if it's unique? Well, your genius zone, the nature of a genius zone is unique because it's that one thing that you do so well, so naturally, with such ease, that it kind of stuns other people, right? It's that thing that when you do it, other people look at you and say, whoa, how did you do that? And you say, this? Oh, anyone can do this, it's easy. Nope, that's just your genius zone, right? You can do it because you've got a combination of skills and passions and experiences that you've lived through, and ideas and gifts you're born with, and so much, whether it be improving marriages or training dogs or parenting or digital marketing or photography or home decorating or financial planning or whatever it is, right? Your future clients, they wish they had your genius zone, your superpower. Most importantly, they want to pay you for that, right? Okay, so we know that yours is going to be unique if you focus on your genius zone. What about the paying you part of this? Like, how do you know if people will actually pay you good money for that genius zone? Particularly if you've got a few you're choosing from. Specifically, what I want to remember is that your genius zone needs to be solving, like, it's got to be a valuable skill that is solving a burning problem. If people have a problem that you can solve, then there will be hordes of customers lining up for you to teach them for a premium fee, right? So whether you're an expert in life coaching or relationships or weight loss or parenting or golf or property or sales or business or music or gut health or yoga, it doesn't matter. There is an audience looking to pay you and pay you well for a program that's going to be centered around your genius zone, as long as it's solving an existing problem. Something that right now is causing people some pain because they've got the problem and they don't have your genius zone. Okay, so this strategy, what we're going to walk through right now, it's allowed me and so many of my students, right, tens of thousands of people I've taught this to launch successful programs, successful courses, successful coaching, successful services, no matter what the market is, right? And have success from that get-go because we know that it's proven, right? So this has given us this kind of a business that becomes this income asset for life, right? And allows you to build a business that you can focus on having the kind of life and business that people dream of. So can you imagine that if we get this right, you could build a program that's worth more than most people's homes? Right? My first program, when I sent it around my genius zone and I followed this audit, my first program generated $1 million from one program. And I was like, oh, I might build a second one, right? And that took us to the 5 million. Can you imagine like getting paid, like waking up every day and getting paid to do what you love? Like what you're just naturally really good at. It's cool, right? So right now, I've got a really powerful, really easy, really, really quick, a very objective way that we're going to assess your ideas, because don't ask your mum or your sister because they tend to be biased, right? We're going to objectively look at it from a business point of view and make sure that you proceed through the whole of Free the Founder with the right genius zone and the right idea. Okay, here's how it works. So I want you to take out a piece of paper, or you can just print out the downloadable below this. And I want you to go along with this video right now. Along the top, I want you to write experience, passion, resources, profitability. Right? They're your 4 columns. Now, along the side, I want you to take a moment, pause this video if you need to, and write down all the ideas that you've got for your online course or your coaching program or a service you could sell or one-on-one group, whatever it is, right? Write down program ideas for your online business over here on the left-hand side. No more than 5, okay? I'm aware that most of us have more than one program in us, right? Some of us may have 10, but we can only do 1 at a time, and this is going to help us choose the one that is going to be most powerful, most profitable, right? And that's one we're going to start with. So write down your different ideas for your different programs on the left-hand side. There might be a few. And again, you might just have some broad brush strokes, right? Oh, I think I want to do like a membership program for parents, and I think I might do retreats. Like, could I do retreats for corporate women who are working and juggling balance, like, whatever it is, right? Whatever those ideas are. They don't have to be locked in stone, just wherever the different directions are. Some of us are multidisciplinary as well, in the sense that we can sleep train a child and turn around and sort out some gut health, right? We're going to need to make a decision on which one we're going to follow first. Okay, so let's make sure we've got all of those on the left-hand side. Then, for each of these different genius zones or ideas, we're going to take a moment to consider experience, passion, resources, and profitability for each. And I want you to give each a score out of 10, right? So idea number 1, whatever it is, and then I want you to score out of 10 under each of these. 10 means I have nailed this, I'm super confident about this, and 1 means I'm not so sure, I'm a little bit worried, I don't think this is a strong area, right? So you're going to find somewhere on the scale of 1 to 10. So for experience, when you're looking at your experience of the different genius zones that you've got here, I want you to consider, what is your experience in this particular area? Do you have qualifications? Do you have accreditations? Do you have case studies or testimonials from previous people that you've helped, that you've showed your genius zone to, or that you've coached? It might be paid, it might be free coaching, it doesn't matter. Have you got case studies? Have you ever coached or consulted someone in this space before? Right? Do you have any published content? Like, do you have a blog already, or some YouTube videos, or maybe you've done live workshops or Facebook Lives? Like, what's your experience in teaching this idea? You might have lived through the idea, but what's your experience in teaching this genius zone? Right, so we're going to score that out of 10 here. Secondly, we're going to have a look at your passion. Right, so in this step, I want you to consider, how much does this idea excite you out of 10? Like, if you were to wake up in the morning and choose an idea that drives you the most, which one would it be? How do these rank out of 10? What about the people that would you be serving in that particular genius zone, or that particular area, that particular niche? Right? How passionate are you about the people that you're serving and about what you'd be teaching them? Okay, so passion, scoring from 1 to 10. Hopefully you're passionate about all of these. Otherwise, probably don't put it on. If it's under a 7, don't put it on. Next, your resources. Like, how quickly for each of these could you get the information out of your head and into a structured program or offer? Right, and we're going to go into this in a lot more detail in module 2, but I want you to consider, which one of these would you feel is like the easiest for you to brain dump? Right, this kind of like second nature, you could teach it in your sleep. That'll get a higher score than the others. Now, finally, profitability, right? I want you to have a think, at what price could you realistically charge each of these offers or programs or ideas, right? Think about your ideal clients. And a lot of the time I say this, people are like, what does that mean? Let me give you a couple of tips. I figure out if something's profitable by having a think about, for each of these groups of people, how painful is the problem that they're stuck in? Whoever's experiencing the most pain because they don't have that genius zone yet, they're usually the ones that are most willing to pay to get out of it. If it's not as big a problem and not as important, they probably won't pay as much. Okay? Also, we want to have a look at not just who's got the biggest problem, but who has the most available finances to invest, right? Because that's going to make your job a whole heap easier. Okay? If it's more profitable, you'll find it much easier to sell. So what you're going to do right now is score for each of your ideas, no more than 5 ideas. You're going to score from 1 to 10. Remember, 10 being, I've nailed this, I'm confident about this. 1 being, I'm not so sure, I'm a bit worried, this area isn't super strong. Okay, and once you've done that, I want you to add up the total, not here, I want you to add up the total here. Yeah, add up the total here at the end of each of the rows. Okay, and that'll give you an objective view on how your ideas, how your genius zone compare with each other, right? Not just listening to your mum or your sister or your best friend and what they think we should focus on, right? And remember, we're not going to be able to do them all at once. In time we can, right? In time, I've got 15 signature programs and another like 20 plus mini courses. And I've got about 3 or 4 coaching programs or service-based stuff. Like, I'm not saying you can't do them all, but I'm saying you can't do them all at once. Okay, so we're just going to choose the best one first, focus in on that for the next few months until it's really humming, and then we can add more to the mix. Also, a word of warning, when it comes to genius zone ideas that have ranked really closely, maybe you've got a couple that come out with the same score or really close in the score, and you're like, oh, which one should I choose? It's not made it much clearer for me. Look at this. I got to tell you, out of all of these criteria, the one that is most important is profitability. A lot of people want me to say passion, and all of these you should be passionate about to a point, but if the one you're most passionate about isn't the one that's strongest in profit, I really want you to consider to choose the other one. Because there's a really strong chance that you could fall into what's called the martyr mindset. I call it this because basically it's where you're building a program or building an offer purely because you're passionate about a group of people, but financially they simply can't afford to pay you what you're worth. Right? Either their pain isn't strong enough or they don't have the resources to invest. And I'm not saying you can't ever serve those people, but as your next program inside Free the Founder, it's going to make it so much harder than it needs to be. Right? I want to be able to create a version of this program that's around the $1,000 price point. I know that if this is the first time you've done it, you might be freaking out by that. You won't be by the end of the next module, right? Just because I want to make sure we can hit your financial goals so much quicker. Okay, now finally, before we move on, once you've done the Genius Zone audit, I just want to do one more thing with you to make sure that we make you unique and make sure that we stand out in your marketplace. Because here's the thing, to be able to position your offer, your program, the program itself is going to be relatively unique because you've created it yourself. However, we need to have a bit of a unique angle. I'm pretty sure you're in a really competitive marketplace where there's heaps of other people doing similar-ish things to what you do. There certainly is in my space, and you've got to be able to stand out, right, in a sea of sameness. So we need to find a unique angle, and I've got a strategy to help you be able to do that. The first thing that you do in this process is you research the top 5 competitors in your market. Right? And what you want to do is go through and have a look at what their angle is. I know when I did this in my space, right, when I was trying to find my unique angle, one of them was all about lifestyle and traveling and, you know, building a business where you can work from your laptop on the beach. Another one was all about like luxury, and there was always a Gucci handbag in the video, and like everything was perfect, and she was gorgeous, and went on, some of her ads had like big yachts, like luxury boats and all that kind of stuff. That was very much her vibe. And so each person had their kind of angle as how they went into the marketplace. Right? One person was more about like working with creatives and doing mood boards and vision boards and all that kind of stuff. So I go through and I just write a sentence for each of the competitors. What's a sentence that would kind of sum them up and what's unique about them? Then I go through for the same 5 competitors and I write down the top things that annoy me the most or frustrate me the most about that competitor. Now, please don't go sharing these publicly. This is not for anyone else's reference. This is for you internally to identify holes in the marketplace that you can step into. Because usually if it's frustrating you, there's a chance that it's frustrating a lot of people in that market. Right? Because what you'll find once you look at everyone else's angles and you look at the things that frustrate you in the market, your own angle will be in there somewhere. Normally what I like to do is flip the annoying things. So I take the thing that annoyed me about one of my competitors, where I might see a theme that a lot of competitors do the same thing, and I flip it. So maybe you're in the fitness space and the thing that annoys you is that on every one of your competitors' websites, they've all got their tops off with 6-packs. And you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm coaching mums who are everyday mums and don't want to have topless 6-pack shots. They want to be a functional mum. So maybe you're the anti-6-pack bod, right? Or whatever. Or maybe like in my industry, I was so sick of all of my competitors. All that I was able to learn was how to do a vision board and how to plan and how to dream and how to manifest. And there's a time for that. But oh my word, I'd just like to stop the dreaming and start doing. So that's where my angle came from. Stop dreaming, start doing. No fluff, no BS, just getting down and getting stuff done. Okay, so that's how I came up with my doing angle, was because I was sick of all the dreaming. And it's okay to get that polarity. It's okay to take a stand. And I'm not saying that I don't dream, but I'm being polarizing in my market because it's attracting my ideal client who is also frustrated by that same kind of thing, who also feels like there's a hole or something that doesn't fit for them. Okay, so take a moment now, let's do this audit, and then I want you to have a look at that competitor space. Go onto their websites and you'll get a general vibe. What's their unique angle? What frustrates you? And somewhere in there, you're going to be able to find your unique angle.